Welcome to the 1980s Gladiator Round Tournament. This is the very first of the second round of action. The best of the best, as I call it. Tom Platz takes on Gary Strydom. This is the early 80s versus the late 80s. What a matchup. Very close here in the front relaxed position. Very close indeed. I decided to go just slightly towards Tom Platz, and I mean slightly here. I appreciate the upper body a little bit better, maybe the delts and the pecs of Gary Strydom, but when you look at the abs, the conditioning seems to be in the favor of Tom Platz. But of course, when you notice the lag difference, wow, earns Tom Platz a point here without a doubt. The legs and the abs, that combination, hard to beat. Alright, 1-0 Platz. Let's go to the front double bicep. And Gary will be tying things up here without a doubt. I was never a huge fan of Tom Platz's front double bicep pose. I can't quite put my finger on it. Of course, he tore his bicep a little bit later on in his career, but both biceps look ready to go here. It just seems his aesthetics are at an all-time low in a pose such as this. Gary Strydom looks like a big statue of Zeus, or perhaps the son of Zeus, Hercules. So she's all tied up, heading into this, the front lat spread. And it is a close one here. Tom Platz has managed to fill out his lat region fairly well. But I guess I am leaning towards Gary Strydom. The conditioning is just so much better. Look at the cuts in those legs. Very difficult to hand Tom Platz. A loss in a pose. One of my favorite bodybuilders, and not a huge fan of Gary Strydom. But I gotta give him his due. So, 2-1 for Gary. Let's go to the side chest. And Platz is finding himself into quite the little deficit indeed. 3-1 for Gary Strydom after this one. Don't get me wrong, Platz looks good, looks fantastic. But this is Gary Strydom's pose. Not too many men could touch him in this one. Look at the size of that pec. And this camera's not even really tilted the right angle, and he still looks fantastic. Like I said, 3-1 for Strydom. Now let's have a look at this, the side tricep. And now Platz is really in a bad position. He is losing this pose to Gary Strydom. Like every other pose he lost, he does look good. It's definitely not a bad pose for Platz, but just a superb one for Strydom. He is down 4 points now. If he loses one more pose, Platz, then he is out of here and Gary Strydom will advance. Disappointing, but not over yet. Let's have a look at the first back shot. And this is a huge sigh of relief for you Tom Platz fans. Without a doubt, he is winning this in the rear lat spread. Now, yes, Gary has the edge as far as the glutes and the hamstrings perhaps as well. But I think Tom is more than answering that with those big, massive cannonball calves. Wow. Not to mention the far superior back development. Look at those traps. Gary Strydom is known for his weak back. This man is 100% from the front. He looks crisp. He looks ready to take the title. Turn him around and P.U. bad back. Let's go to the rear double biceps, in which case Platz picks up another easy one. Look at the detail in Tom Platz's back. He would give Samir Banu a run for his money. Ooh, that would be an excellent match. Could be coming up. Platz, if he hangs on here, he could pull the upset of the decade. The decade of the 80s, of course. Gary Strydom, just terrible. And there was worse rear double biceps, if you can imagine that. At least this one has some detail in it. Terrible pose for poor Gary. All right, let's go to the next pose. And it is over. This is a sad day for Mark's Max Muscle. Tom Platz, I really had high hopes for him in this. and I knew if he could just make it to that ab and thigh pose, he would have won. I knew he had the hammer. One of the best poses, or one of the best ab and thighs in the history of bodybuilding, possessed by Tom Platz, but he just missed out by one pose. Now, I could see some people wanting to give Platz this pose just because of the lag development alone, but I'm not going to switch my judging techniques just because Platz is my favorite or one of my favorites. As we all know, in the most muscular, I tend to favor the upper body and the delts, and in particular the pecs. And when you look at the pec difference here, it's all she wrote. There was a few more most musculars of Platz, but I found this one was doing the most battle against Strydom and his just outstanding most muscular. So, definitely some respect here for Tom Platz. He made it to the Gladiator round, but just could not get past Gary Strydom. So, let's have a look at these brackets. Strydom advances to one half of the semi-final matches. So this is taking shape. Strydom will face the winner of Bertil Fox versus Samir Banu. What a matchup, and what a super matchup the winner of that against Strydom will be. Of course, over the other side, we have Lee Haney, Francis Benfato, Rich Gaspari, and Lee Labrada remaining left in this tournament. 1980s, one of my, if not my favorite decade. Hope you enjoyed this one, and have a good day.